break. It's going to be a slightly shorter one this time, but not by much. And I didn't really explain the music after the last break, did I? I don't remember going into it, to be honest, as I promised that I would. I mentioned it was from Zelda, of course. And obviously during Nintendo's conference today, they had an orchestra there and they were playing Zelda tunes, and they announced that because it's the 25th anniversary, they were going to be doing a tour of Zelda, like orchestrated basically. And the last track I played was from Lon Lon Ranch, and it's from an album which you can all go and download for free, which I personally love and I think it's amazing. It's called Zelda Reorchestrated. Many of you might have heard of it already. It's a free download, and it's a like digitally made orchestra, but it just sounds so great, and I think
it's good.
The people that made it just did a very, very good job. So that was from Lon Lon Ranch. This next one is from Gerudo Valley. I never know how to say that, but I think that's how you play it. How you say it. I love this tune, and we'll be right back after this. Talk about the best PC stuff. This is your final chance, guys. If you want to send a tweet our way, do get over to Twitter and tag it with IHTV, and we'll read it out in the next part of the show just after we've spoken about our best stuff. But we want to know yours. Send us a tweet on the break, and we'll get to that as soon as we return. We'll be right back. and welcome back to Ironhammers Live. We are just about to wrap up talking about this year's E3 right here. We're about to go into what we thought was the best of E3, or at least what I thought, and I don't know whether these guys would have gone on with them, but there's one that we've been repeatedly referring to throughout the show, and I think that's just about what all of us are dying to get our hands on, to be honest. But we're going to start off with perhaps something that before E3 I didn't expect to have up in this list, and that is the new Tomb Raider game. Did you guys see this, and were you as perhaps, are you looking forward to it now as much as what I am?
I was blown away.
I was completely shocked. Because, I mean, they kind of gave new life to the series, like, recently, but no one really cared. Like, no one really paid attention. They were like, whatever, it's just more of the same old crap. When it wasn't, it was good. But then you see some of the first screenshots, like the one you're showing right now in the chat room, and it's amazing. It's so bloody realistic, and you didn't think it would be, you know?
Yeah, I never expected it to look like that at all, man. I didn't expect to see Lara Croft all battered and beaten, and
not a cartoon.
I expected to see that. Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah,
and almost properly proportioned.
Properly proportioned. Tina, as I mentioned earlier in the show, Tina wrote up a great little roundup of all the PC-related news. She mentioned that there. And I mentioned, I put a little editor's note in there which she referenced in the chat room just a minute ago, saying how it's still kind of hot, and if anything, she's perhaps even more hot than she ever was, because she looks so real.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're not going to put
believable.
an ugly chick as your main cover, or your main character.
Not at all, no, but like, she's always been kind of the sex symbol of gaming, in a way. I don't know if you guys would agree with that. Would you say that's the case? Or?
Yeah,
pretty much, I mean.
And to see her in a different light, but still look just as cool, and I mean, I think of all the franchises that we've seen people try to reinvigorate and reboot, which is a term that often when I hear reboot, I kind of step back a little bit, and I think maybe you should just leave it. If you need to reboot it, then perhaps it's dead already, you should just leave it.
yeah.
This one seems to have the best chance, though.
This looks like the best reboot that I've ever seen, and I think it's going to be just 100,000 times better than any of the old Tomb Raider games, man. It looks amazing.
Well, I mean, I think it, like, the art style that they went for is good, but we really didn't see a lot of gameplay, and I hope that the game, like, they don't take away from kind of the adventure aspect of it. They don't make it like it's all like a corridor, like, quick time event. It's kind of an action game. That would be like my fear of it, and I think this is like the only thing good to have came out of the Ubisoft conference at all, really. So, I mean, hopefully, you know, I'm trying to be optimistic. I hope it's good, but I hope it's just not like a scripted kind of quick time event thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not like like Call of Duty,
like where you tap X repeatedly to, you know, move the boards or the boulders, and you're like, okay, I did it. You know,
I still want that puzzle aspect, and I still want to have to find my way around all the caves and tombs, you know, and I mean, the original Tomb Raider games were kind of tough in that respect. They weren't a walk in the park by any means. There was many times where I found myself, one particular part I remember, I believe it might have been Tomb Raider 1, the very first one, where there was like you pulled a lever and it triggered a boulder and you had to quickly run through like a maze and stuff, and it was really harsh on you. Like, if you didn't do it right, you were dead. And I don't want them to, like you said, I don't want them to take that kind of aspect out of the game. I don't want to just be able to play this game and just walk from the start to the finish. And
that's what I'm kind of worried about, though. Like, didn't you see in the trailer or the gameplay that they had? It had like the objects highlighted in orange of what you were supposed to interact with.
Yeah.
Sort of. And I was like, I don't know.
It's better than being lost, I guess. If they make it like an option, or if it was hard for like most of their testers to actually figure out what the hell they were supposed to be doing. It's better than being lost. And I think
nice if
Portal has taught developers a lot about those kinds of puzzles and how to treat a game correctly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if they put in like a hint button for the harder thinking.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have that option because, I mean, there was plenty of times in the old Tomb Raider games that I was just plain stuck.
Yeah.
And that's never a good... Back in, like, in those times, I mean, like, say on the PS1 and maybe even more so before that, it wasn't unusual to play a game and get stuck.
No.
But nowadays, I mean, we've taken a step away from that, and I think it is for the best that games are not necessarily easier, but they kind of direct you a little bit more. But like I say, I don't want them to just make it like a big action,
like a hand-holding game.
Yeah, it should be more about the experience.
Yeah,
but I think even gamers are evolving. Like even console players, like I think games are evolving. Like I think console players are even actually kind of wisening up so that they don't want these scripted corridor events.
Especially in games like Black Ops where you can be killed by a scripted event. What the hell? Go check
Or not have
and then have a scripted event blow me up. Yeah.
I wouldn't know because I didn't play it.
Good for you.
I'm proud. I'm proud of that one.
Yeah.
I managed to.
Screw them.
I bought it in hopes that...
Grape them.
Grape them.
Grape them
right in the mouth. Tina in the chat room, of course, actually does bring up a pretty good point, as she always does. Thank you, Tina. She says it does have a somewhat faster pace. Maybe it's necessary, you know, to have those orange highlighted objects and stuff. Yeah, if it's faster paced, then it could really have a place there.
I think it definitely does need to be changed. I mean, not just the art style. I mean, I don't want it to be exactly the same as the old Tomb Raider games, but with a new art style at all. I think they do need to modernise it, and like Tyler was just saying, like games have been revolutionised, and as I was saying, we don't kind of want to get stuck, and we don't want all these really, really, really challenging things. But I don't want to play a Tomb Raider game where like I say, I can just walk through it and it's just like a big story, like an interactive story. I want the puzzle aspect, I want the kind of challenging aspect, and I want the kind of Easter egg aspect as well, all the cool little things that kind of popped up in the Tomb Raider games, man. Like, I hope they haven't, I mean, it seems hard to kind of put that kind of stuff in with this really realistic art style in, but I hope they find a way to kind of still drop those cool little things in there that you kind of were never expecting to come across, and then you did.
Yeah, and I think what people are hoping for, and they don't even know it, is that they want Action Portal 2. You know what I mean? For Tomb Raider. And they just did it correctly in Portal 2. I hate to go back and keep referencing just one game, but they make you feel like a genius when you're done with it. And it wasn't necessarily that it was super hard and you figured it out and you are a genius, but they do make you feel like one.
If only every developer could be like
there.
And like they've made it so well that you kind of always can figure it out. Like you always know what you have to do. So a lot of the time it's just actually doing it. Like you can see they make this jump and you've got to put that portal there. Say it might not be so easy to do so, but you know that's the aim of the game.
And other times you just got to look at it in a different way, and you're like, oh, how did I not see that? I'm an idiot.
And then you realise, and you're like, I am so clever. But then every other person that has played the game, I mean, because there's never really more than one way to do it. There's every single person.
But it still manages to feel like an experience that was tailored to you. Yeah.
Exactly. Even though every person who's played the game has come to exactly the same conclusion, and Valve have pointed you to that conclusion, you still always feel like you've figured it out yourself, and you still feel really clever. And it's the same as the moment I was referencing about Tomb Raider, where there was a big boulder rolling at you a moment ago, and you always knew what you had to do. I mean, in that moment in time, and there were the kind of moments that were good. It was tricky actually doing it and getting it done. There wasn't a lot of room for error once you triggered that. You pulled that lever, but you kind of knew what you were doing. There was, of course, the other times where you got stuck and it wasn't so great, but I hope it's there, and I didn't ever think that I would be looking forward to another Tomb Raider game again. I did thoroughly enjoy the recent Guardian of Light, or whatever it was. That was a great little game. But I kind of thought perhaps that was all Tomb Raider had left as a franchise, was little offshoots and little games, like smaller downloadable games, say. But they've blown me away from what I've seen so far.
I think what they need to do with the series is exactly what they're doing is like reboot it, cut all the past stuff out and just kind of like go and introduce it to new gamers, like introduce Lara Croft, why we should care about her, and then give it a balance between kind of challenging puzzles and really good pacing of story and action. Like, you don't want too much of one thing and then another, but I think if they can just kind of balance it and make it seem like a really cool action movie, and then kind of give you the depth of your character and why you should care about her, or why she is who she is, or or whatever.
I mean, it's basically showing that she's like an actual female role model that you can look up to, that you can respect, that can inspire you. Not just because they're trying to make her into a sex symbol, but they're trying to make her into an actual person that has actual goals and feelings, and
Dare I say,
it's refreshing.
Perhaps it's a little bit closer to the Tomb Raider we saw in the movies.
Yeah.
Because a movie would work without
actually
that
kind of good,
human aspect,
Yeah.
Which, for very much of a change as the usual, that is probably for the best.
Definitely.
But we'll move on to the one that Dan added, because I want to save the very best till last in my eyes.
But I got a couple to add too. Just FYI.
We'll chuck those in. Let's take a look at Skyrim. Dan, you added it in, so I'll let you go all out on this one.
Well, it's Skyrim.
It's Skyrim. I think that's
I'm looking forward to. They stopped counting at about 300 hours of stuff you could do. They gave up counting. Then there's more than that. It looks fantastic. The world's pretty much alive. There's flora and fauna all around the place. There's dragons in it. I mean, what more do you want? I am a little bit peeved at some of it, though. It does look like they've simplified things a little bit too much.
They dumbed it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm excited for it. But yeah, they look like they've dumbed some of the I don't know, was it character building and like the way you kind of structure your class and stuff?
Yeah, they kind of crossed it with Fallout.
But they had Oblivion to the console. Was that dumbed down? I can't even remember now.
No,
but
not too much.
That was the first shot at it. Yeah. So.
Well, no. Technically, that would have been Morrowind on the original Xbox.
Well, that was back when console gamers had a brain.
Yeah. I guess
Thank you.
So it sold well back then.
But yeah, I don't quite like the way. I mean, they referenced the controller. It's obviously something that they're thinking about more with console games in mind, with the left hand on the left trigger, the right hand on the right trigger. Woo, that's clever.
I just hope it's not too much of an action game rather than an RPG.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I've already pre-ordered it. I've had it pre-ordered since I could pre-order it. November can't come quick enough for me.
And the good thing about Bethesda is all their titles now are Steamworks, so you can usually, even if you buy retail, you can activate it on Steam.
Yeah, and it's just. I've been itching for a big RPG that I can really get my teeth in for ages, and it's just looking better and better every time I see something new.
And hopefully it ships with mod tools, or so we can fix their game for them.
Yeah.
Do you think, hopefully, maybe it won't be so broken, seeing as there's a brand new engine?
Yeah, no more shit Gamebryo, which, I had a bad experience with Fallout 3 while I was playing it this past week.
I think everybody had a bad experience with that game engine, no matter where they played it and what game it was.
No, I didn't, but I'm going to keep quiet about that. But yeah, it looks so beautiful, doesn't it?
I don't...
It looks great.
It's just a game that anyone can say anything bad about, really.
No,
no one can say, I'm going to hate it.
I'm going to hate it.
There will be a load of people that will hate it, but they just won't buy it.
Yeah, there's people that hate everything.
They will be playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you may have hit that nail on the head.
I mean, it's not going to be. There's going to be plenty of gamers. Same with like Fallout and stuff as well, where it's just not their type of game.
Yeah.
But
There's another game coming out on the same date, actually. A bit of competition for it. Minecraft finally goes.
Have they got a date?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it's the 11th. Of the 11th.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I thought it was the 5th. I thought it was the 15th, but I could be wrong.
And of course, that's going on to the 360 as well, which is
Really?
old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and it's
Kinect
gonna be
control.
with Kinect.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sell out.
Notch.
Oh
sold
no,
out.
I think that's great for Notch, you know.
No, I think
No,
it's
yeah,
gonna
that's
Get loads of money.
good.
I mean, that's good that he's getting money, and more props to him for that. But it kind of takes away from the indie sensation when you got Microsoft that just throws their money wherever they want and they just buy
Yeah.
whatever's popular.
Well,
That's why I hate Microsoft. Not to get too much on a tangent, but that's what they always do.
Well, in this case, it was actually the fan base that said, I want it available in more places. Or I don't own a PC, I don't want to. Can I have it on the console? Yeah, he's even announced that he's launching for the
Android,
Xperia, yeah, for tablets and for the Xperia phone and all that.
And I think that's where it'll really excel, is like in a tablet where you could just touch it, pick up your shit.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get it all linked in together?
If it was all running.
Oh, Xbox will never allow that.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen, but I can dream.
If Xbox allow that, then you have to have a Xbox Live subscription to play it on your phone.
Oh no!
But like you say, like the indie aspect of it, are they going to change it at all? Is it going to be exactly the same game?
We don't actually really know. They're putting it on Kinect, so they're going to have to simplify and dumb it down.
They're going to have to change it an awful lot.
You dumb down Minecraft
title.
Yeah, I don't know if dumb down is perhaps the right word, but they're going to have to change an awful lot.
Yeah. It's going to be a huge undergoing.
Some kid made had already hooked up his Kinect to his PC and modded it to recognize him while he was playing Minecraft. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly well done, but it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, perhaps they could have that you point on the screen and brings up the inventory and you can choose what to use, and then
I think it's going to, especially for Notch, it's going to be like on the PC now. I mean, like as you say, it's not even going to become a real full game until November. But I think by then on the PC it will have died down a little bit to from what it has been. I mean, it's already dying down a bit now. I would say it had its like sensationalist indie masterpiece kind of moment, you know.
And I think that's as big as it's going to get. I mean, people are going to try it on Xbox, and then people who play on PC will play it on Xbox. But I don't think it's just going to grow the game and it's become something that huge.
No, I think
it's not going to actually be growing it.
It will have another moment on Xbox, perhaps. Perhaps when it starts to die off on the PC, the Xbox will give it a new breath of life.
Oh, it's not even being developed by Notch right there, so it's not going to be the same, I guess.
Sure, as long as he still profits from it, it's all good with me, I guess.
And we can see what next.
Players will take to it like PC gamers did.
They're like, what? It doesn't load the game for me and press X to start?
I mean, half of what made Minecraft so great was the appreciation of Notch making it, and it was the story that came with the development of the game in a way that kind of. I mean, the game is great, not to take anything away from the game at all.
But the whole Cinderella story.
But I think PC gamers appreciate that. Like we were talking about how PC gamers make much more informed decisions and stuff. Perhaps, I mean, of course, like Tyler said, not to say that console gamers just buy anything, or I mean, obviously they make informed decisions about what they buy. But
some of them,
yeah. But I don't think that kind of sort of Cinderella story, as Scott put it, or perhaps woo the console games like it did us PC guys, because we were like, this guy has done something great on his own, and even if I'm not going to play it, I'm going to give him my money because he deserves it. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think all they're really doing with it being on the Kinect is basically like all the soccer moms who couldn't get it on Facebook can see it there because that's where their kids will be playing it. You know what I mean?
Perhaps.
And so maybe they'll get a couple extra sales there. I don't really know. All I know is if the fans ask for it, give it to them.
I guess.
If they really want it that bad, yeah, okay, try it. Throw it on motion control, you know. I mean, I don't see how interesting it could be to punch a tree for 10 hours or whatever on motion control, but whatever.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
So yeah, before we move on, Tyler, you said you had a couple of games or something that you wanted to just mention.
Yes, some stuff that I wanted to mention, and it kind of ties in with Skyrim actually, because I don't know if you guys caught part of the EA press conference, but even if you didn't, this game's been kind of previewed before. It's an EA publishing partners game by 38 Studios. It's what's it called? I can't even remember now. Kingdoms of Amalur,
The new RPG,
The Reckoning.
Right.
And you know, it looks to me is what it looks like, and let me read this thing here real quick. But it's like they said it's like the main story, the main quest, like with how they're doing their quest system, is designed by the guy that did the Elder Scrolls game, and they said that this game is going to be kind of like a big, like epic RPG in a similar fashion to like an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout, and that there's potentially going to be hundreds of hours of gameplay. Now, the art style is a little bit more stylized, like it's not so gritty and realistic, but I mean, I'm willing to give it a chance if it's got like hundreds of hours of gameplay, like they say, and it's neatly done. It is a little bit more action focused, but I think it looks good, and I'm willing to give it a chance when it comes out next year.
Yeah, I think being like a new IP, as far as I'm aware, I don't think they've ever had anything before from that. Okay, but it is a brand new IP, right?
It's a brand new IP, and it's a brand new studio. This is their first game. The studio is actually owned by a American baseball player, Kurt Schilling. It's actually his game studio.
Yeah.
But
seeing him coming out and talking about it.
Yeah, it looks good though. I think it's one of the lead designers. I was just gonna say it's from one of the lead designers of the Elder Scrolls game. I don't know his name offhand, and it's got the artistic design of Todd McFarlane as well. So it's kind of got more of a kind of a stylized art style, not so gritty and real like Elder Scrolls. But if it can kind of bring us that free, like open world gameplay like that, and maybe with a little bit more action, so you can kind of have something different from the Elder Scrolls. Like you can have your authentic RPG experience with that, and then you can still kind of go to an open world type thing with a little bit maybe more of a hack and slash in a stylized art style.
With like grainy Darksiders visuals, I'm assuming.
I gotta look at it, but
it is that kind of kind of look. I mean, and no one.
It's kind of hack and slashy.
Nobody can dislike Todd McFarlane's art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You said McFarlane, and I went, oh, so it looks like this. Like my brain just drew that picture for me. Yeah.
But I think it has potential. I mean, they've been working on it since like 2006 or 7. Wow. Like they've been working on it a while, so it's not just some rushed game. And I don't know. I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping we get we don't have a lot of good RPGs anymore. I mean, we got Bethesda RPGs, and then BioWare kind of hit and miss now. But we need some more good ones.
They're kind of moving away from the classic RPG. I would say BioWare more and more so with every game. It's not so much of that RPG we used to, But like I said, I think it could be a bit of a dark horse, man. People obviously not hearing the name, you don't get the associated hype. But I think
there's not a lot of press covering it because it's not coming out until next year. I mean, if you just search like Kingdoms of Amalur, even if you spell it wrong, you'll be able to find it. But you can definitely tell the art style is kind of one of its own. It's a little bit actiony, maybe a little bit arcadey, but if it's really hundreds of hours of gameplay and you can just kind of go and do what you want, I'm definitely down to play it.
I totally agree, man. I think it's one of those ones where once press starts to get preview builds in their hands and they start to get the review copies through and stuff, we'll start to hear a lot more about it, and people will go, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah, I'm just on the front page, the main site, and it's beautiful. There's a lot of interesting design, and
it doesn't have to be a carbon copy of like a traditional RPG. You can kind of go that medieval style, but have its own art with it.
I agree. It looks great. Was there anything else you wanted to add in?
I just wanted to add in a couple of other mentions. The first one being Batman Arkham City, which looks gorgeous, looks awesome. You know, the PC version that they did was, you know, it was a port per se, but it was really well done. Looks awesome on Unreal 3.
They put a lot of time into the PC version. I remember when I went to Eurogamer Expo, and the Nvidia booth was like using the Arkham Asylum as like their flagship product at that time, especially with their 3D vision technology. And they even did a big, huge Nvidia like conference thing there, and they used Arkham Asylum in that to specifically show off like 3D vision and stuff, because it was all optimized for it. And I know they did work very closely with Nvidia on that, so I'm always happy to see a company do that, because it's not
a good Batman game.
And a good
There's never enough of them.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there has been one before that. Like, it was the first one. I hope that it's not too much more the same. I think the announcement of Catwoman being a playable character is a really good thing for it. I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the fighting style and the mission types are a little bit different when you play as her. I don't think it's like a vital part of it.
No, I think because we've seen so much of the Batman stealthy stuff in Arkham Asylum already. I think in Arkham City, although there's obviously going to be changes, there's going to be a whole load of new stuff, of course. But I think just having a little offshoot story where you get to play as Catwoman might break that up a little bit, and I think it could add a kind of really nice dynamic to the game.
Yeah, my kind of running theory on it is that they're trying to open it up so that you can eventually play as villain characters and stuff later on, and actually expand it as
like
an IP.
DLC or something.
Well, yeah, I was thinking more of like a third game. Like Arkham City Underworld or something, you know what I mean?
I kind of like that idea, man.
That's what I'm hoping for, yeah.
But I mean, how can you expand the gameplay if you're walking around as the Joker? I mean, you just hit people with giant like boxing gloves or something. I mean, I don't know.
Toss exploding cards at them, and I mean, it could be more like based around a more melee type, like Bane or something early on, before they learn how to kind of expand it.
Or even you could have just the storyline still focusing around Joker, but you're actually working as working
for him.
Joker. Yeah.
Like a bug, yeah.
Because I don't think he would be that much of an interesting playable character, as Tyler said.
He's much better as like a behind the scenes, playing all the tricks type of,
Totally, but I think if they can pull it off like the switching characters part, like, because it's going to have to integrate really well to be able to switch from Batman to Catwoman without it feeling like breaking the game. If they can manage that, then perhaps we could see a third game where you're working for the Joker and perhaps you play as 4 or 5 different characters throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, as you set up each little individual piece of his elaborate plot to take down Batman. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that could work really well.
Well, they did have, in the PlayStation 3 version of Batman Arkham Asylum, they did have it where you could play as the Joker. So that's another thing to kind of keep in mind. But I think, like, what I'm hoping that they do with between the Batman and the Catwoman parts is, like, if you play as Catwoman and certain things that you do, maybe you do have a little bit of choices in the game, will affect your playthrough in Batman. I mean, not in the sense that the ending's different, but, like, you might have to go a different route if if you're Catwoman, you broke the window instead of open the vent for I mean, just kind of stuff like that, but a little bit more in depth. I mean, I don't entirely know, but I think that would be kind of a cool thing. And just to add, they said that the main story is about 15 hours long for the game, and that there's also like side quest content, I guess, is a way to put it, that it's going to be another 10 to 15 hours of the game. So that's something to look forward to. And on the topic of a third game, what do you guys think about if they took, like, instead of being Batman or a villain, but if you kind of started out as Robin, but you started out as kind of like you're just like the normal 20-something-year-old guy, and you kind of start out from being just a normal guy, like getting in fights and doing this or that, to becoming kind of a superhero, and that the game's all about his journey in terms of doing that. I don't know.
To actually make him a badass, not like this.
Like a realistic
target.
concept.
I mean, yeah.
he's one of those characters that kind of always gets. He's kind of like
The chef.
a bit of the joke of the
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be interesting to see if they could integrate him in there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, like you know, you kind of start up like you're like a orphan kid or whatever his story is, and you're kind of just, you know, you learn to fight and get, I don't know, you get more ability, so on and so forth. It's kind of the same style of game. I don't know.
It could be very interesting.
I'd love to be able to drive around the city like a tool in the Batmobile.
He's coming back to the racing games.
Just picking up shit.
And to use more of his wonderful toys.
Yeah, I hope there is a whole lot of new toys in this one. I'm guessing there has to be.
Yeah, I think the game looks great though, and I think they'll do a good job on the PC version. And I just want them, since they've been bought by Warner Brothers and, well, Eidos is no longer really at Square Enix, I hope that they use Steamworks instead of Game for Windows shithole, so that's my...
Yeah, I think that was the only...
Well, they can integrate, you know, both. Oh, sorry.
They can. Dawn of War 2 did it.
Yep.
Well, why do we need games for Windows anything? I mean, they can just do Arkham Asylum, Steamworks, give us, you know, some achievements, whatever, and
nobody needs
activate
it.
our retail on Steam.
Again, it just doesn't. Games for Windows just doesn't need to exist. Like,
It's kind of nice with the double interface if you have, like, friends on your Xbox list. Other than that, yeah.
if you're interested in a gamer score, then people will love having
Windows Phone 7, man.
That's true.
So, anything else, guys, before we move on to the big finish?
Not really. I just wanted to throw Prey 2 out there, and I think that it has potential to be good. I mean, there hasn't been a lot shown on it, but it's using like the idTech 4.5 engine, so you know it's a cross in between Quake 4 and what Rage will be, you know, kind of a newer modified engine. I'm hoping that Prey 2 is great. I don't know. It looks kind of cool. The concept's kind of cool. Kind of like being in an open world, kind of futuristic, like, you know, alien, like an alien setting. Like you're in a city and you gotta hunt guys down because you're like a bounty hunter and you're like the only human. I don't really know the entire story, but I think it's kind of a cool idea, and I hope that the game is actually good. You know, as far as kind of having like an open world, I don't know, bounty hunter game for aliens. I don't know. It just kind of sounds cool. There's not a lot of games that have really done that.
The first Prey was like, for me, like the other Prey games have been like kind of broken masterpieces in a way.
And this is just like a totally different direction from it. It's like it's not even related.
Yeah, I know, man. But they've always had a really good idea, and there just always seemed to be something in there that was just holding me back. But this does look promising, I do agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because it looks decent. And then, you know, I would bring up Rage, but that's been at like every E3 for the last like 127 years. But we do need Doom 4 though. Like I hope that Carmack, you know, shows us at QuakeCon. But that's all I got.
I want another Quake-style multiplayer game.
Quake 5, do it.
Quake 5, that's just an arena game. No single player, no bullshit. Just make it an e-sport game. I want something to watch from Quake, like on MLG and stuff. I don't want just Quake Live or Halo, which is just a complete mockery of the FPS genre.
It's a joke for the FPS, yeah.
Just one of those really fast-paced, really like...
Yeah, the real
PC
deathmatch.
PC, yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
But we haven't had anything like that since, maybe say, Quake 4.
No, well, Quake 4 was...
a tournament in a way, I guess.
Yeah. Quake Live is it, man. We don't have any more esports games for the PC or just in general because they're all made into annual franchises where the games are good pub games, like you jump in with your bros on Xbox and play some COD. But there's no like competitive FPS games, you know, like everything is RTS.
I mean, when did
Unreal Tournament was the last real good one, like the original Unreal Tournament.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw a patch for Call of Duty to balance the game?
Yeah.
I mean, it just hasn't never happened. I mean,
they're
you
good.
just stop picking that gun, you know.
I'd love to see something like that come out, but I haven't seen anything that hints towards it just yet.
Yeah.
So let's move on to our finale. I think we're like 3 hours in now, almost 2 hours. And 40 minutes.
But it's E3, so it's like 3 hours for E3.
It's perfectly allowed, man. It's all good. And obviously, of course, we'll return to our normal format next week. But Battlefield 3, with just about every game we've spoken about through this whole podcast, has somehow gone to Battlefield 3. So I think it's safe to let it all out now and just say this is the PC game of the year. Anybody contest that?
Yeah. No.
I don't think anybody would contest that it is the PC game of the year. I think that for that genre, it's definitely going to be the best, and I think that the only thing that can come close or rival to it is fans of Skyrim or the
Diablo 3. I think is
Diablo 3
too, but
if it comes out, I'll definitely the light of day again.
Yeah.
Agreed, man. So how much of I know Scott's been trying to avoid it a bit. He doesn't want to be let down. Dan.
Media blackout. Yeah, I just want to experience it for the first time. Not having seen any videos. I did that with Fallout 3, and I really enjoyed the experience.
So do we not want to talk about it then, or what we know about it, or is it like features, or?
I think you just don't want to see it like in action, right?
Yeah, exactly. Talk all you want. It's cool.
So Dan, I'm guessing you've seen the videos from E3 as well.
Oh yeah.
Were you blown away as much as I was?
I reckon probably, yeah. If not slightly more.
First of all, let's just say how it looks. I mean, we mentioned it so many times in the show already. It looks amazing. Like, it's the best looking game I've seen, I think, ever.
Yeah, it's eye-bleedingly beautiful. I can't wait. That's something else I need to sort my rig out for.
Yeah, I think there'll be so many players upgrading their computers for this game.
I've got so much to spend and no money.
We're all in that boat, man.
I need to get a surfboard as well.
You know, that screenshot, that looks like a...
That's a FM... Is
like
that
a London corner.
Sequence?
That's from the clip they showed of the multiplayer map that's set in Paris.
Okay, do we know who the actual, factions are that it's the enemy? I mean, obviously we got, some Taliban, Middle Eastern guys, the typical scapegoat.
Like PKD.
Hopefully not.
It's like PKD or something like that. It's just like the name. Like,
is it Russians? Is it...
It's probably a made-up... just like
Taliban? Is it...
they were questioning the guy on that stream I was watching earlier, like some of the developers, and they're not letting anything out of the bag as far as single player goes at the moment, apart from the little clips that they're showing.
What about the multiplayer factions? Because you're going to have, I don't want just two factions like we have in Bad Company 2. It's either Russians or Americans. I mean, I'd rather have, you got American typical army, and then maybe you got, British special forces in another section versus... I don't know. I kind of just like to vary them.
You mean like Counter-Strike in the old days? Or no, not Counter-Strike.
I mean, just you kind of got a different section of American military or maybe some sort of British British unit. I don't know.
Sort of like the first Modern Warfare had. There was an English and an American, and then there was two enemy factions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. Yeah, not so much in a specific specialist way, but just kind of a couple different two military units for the good guys, and then maybe Chinese and Taliban suicide bombers for the other one. I mean, I don't just some of those Iranian military group that never really has a chance, and you're wondering why they don't just auto lose when you join the game. But
But yeah, I mean, it could be the SAS, the British SAS versus and then in a different match it's the U.S. and the Chinese, or the Russians and I mean, it could be anything. But yeah, just something to kind of change it up a little while. You mean?
Yeah, I don't want just two factions.
I think we've got 4 factions. There's the USMC, EU, Russians, and the MEC, whoever they are.
So the Russians are bad guys, or are they part of the European Union thing?
I'm just looking at
it depends on what world they set it in. I mean,
yeah.
Well,
I just remember some guy that started following me on quicker.
Yeah, if it's modern, then they're probably on the good guy list.
Bad guys should be like North Korea, and then like some sort of Middle Eastern group or something. I don't know. If it's modern.
It should be Korea and Activision.
But yeah, moving away from the factions and such, the multiplayer experience looks absolutely amazing, and something that we haven't really seen so successful in Battlefield games so far, the single player stuff. I take it you guys saw that tank assault video that they showed, the gameplay footage that they showed during the conference.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to see, to be honest. But
did you think?
I mean, because the stream I was watching was like 480i or less. I don't know. It just looked terrible.
Oh, I've got the 720p video from it direct from EA, so I've watched it like that, and it just looks absolutely stunning.
It does, doesn't it?
There's just all these tanks rolling across the desert, just like you see them on like for example when we saw the US and European troops going into Afghanistan, and you saw them just going like caning along the desert. You know, there was all the videos on the news all day long, and it looked so real, man. And then they stopped and they started firing, and every time they fired the tank, like there was all smoke come out of the end of the cannon, and like you couldn't see for a little while, like it was all like smoky, and much like we saw in Bad Company 2, it was all the little effects, all the smoke and the fires that were about, and kind of like the wind blowing dust around that we saw in some of the maps on Bad Company 2, and this is taking it to a whole nother level. And another single player scene I saw earlier where they were taking down like a building with an RPG, and you had all your teammates poised on top of this building, and they were like, suppressive fire, and like laying down all these rounds, and then you pop up and fire your RPG and the whole building just crumbles. And I think a single player could just be a really, really good experience just to play through, and then after that, just multiplayer and hammer it home. I mean, I'm going to be able to play this game for hours.
I hope the single player is everything it could be, because I love a good single player in an FPS, and it just doesn't happen enough. It's never right.
Bad Company 1 was fun, but then they really pushed it with Bad Company 2. Like there was no connection between 1 and 2. You didn't care about the guys in 2 anymore, and so yeah, that was kind of a letdown for me. So hopefully they've learned from that experience at the very least.
Yeah, and I think moving away from the Bad Company thing, I don't think you're not going to have those like same 3 characters around you through the whole game and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were funny, but
yeah, they were definitely funny. But I think this is like just the way that we were in this video, so how they were rolling down, and like there was about 10-15 tanks rolling alongside you, and it felt like a real battlefield rather than a kind of little special squad going in and like taking things out like it felt like in Bad Company. Like this felt like a full battlefield, like it felt as close to what we see in the multiplayer with the big massive environments and the huge battles. It felt as close to that as it could be without being multiplayer, like, and putting it into a single player, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Does anybody wonder if when this game's finally releases, how they're going to do like the extra content? Do you think they're going to try to charge for map packs, or are they going to release free content like they did with Bad Company 2? Because they gave us like a couple sets of free maps.
Yeah,
they were like redone maps from other modes.
But they did have that one pack that came out that was like actual new maps rather than just like redone modes of the other ones.
See, I think we've already had like been told about the Back to Karkin stuff, and
which is just like a pre-order incentive. If you pre-order it, you get it. It's not really anything.
Yeah, but then so if you don't pre-order it, then I guess you're gonna have to pay for it, right?
Yeah, but I don't like that they're splitting the community like that. I could see if they wanted to add some skins or something, or like a rainbow-colored case, whatever.
Or something like that. Yeah, maybe a different scope or something like that. That
but I don't.
But I think
don't know why
splitting
they're
the
splitting
community
it.
from day one, especially on the PC. I mean, despite the fact that we got all the free maps and stuff in Battlefield Bad Company, and they weren't like new maps as such, as in completely new maps. Like as a PC game, I was very appreciative that they were giving them to us free and we never had to pay for them.
Yeah. I mean, I would pay for the stuff. I just hope they don't cut the community like 4 or 5 different ways. Like the guys that didn't pre-order, the guys that did pre-order, Map Pack 1 guys, Map Pack 2 guys, and then do those guys have the same sets of maps, or do they only have one or the other? I mean, the shit just goes so many different ways. I hope it just doesn't turn into that. And then they're already starting with this physical warfare pack, like where in the UK, if you pre-order a game or something, you get the L88, the combat shotgun, and some other stuff. And like, I don't really like this pre-order. You get certain weapons from certain retailers. I think
I think it's just an early unlock, isn't it? I think the same way.
No, it's just you get this package. Like it's not just an early unlock. You get these weapons. Yeah, I'm almost positive because they haven't announced.
Because that's how they did it with Bad Company too. I know they.
I don't think it's an early unlocked.
It would have been much nicer either way if they just put all those weapons in at the start and let us just use them. I would rather have more weapons overall than this region gets this gun and we get this gun, but they don't get this. You know what I mean? Like all that back and forth.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I don't think. I mean, are they really that worried about people pre-ordering it? Like,
they don't need to be. No, I mean. Not especially a title this large.
Well, the reason that they do
all of E3 is freaking out about.
The reason that they do pre-orders in the first place, not that they know that if they will or won't sell anything, it's just that they want to get what am I trying to say here? Like an idea of how many pre-orders they want, because they want to know how many DLCs they should do in the future and how much like of copies should go to each region and retailer. That's really why they do it.
It's probably more of like, how much money are we going to have from sales in 2 months so we can start working on the next game now?
They've already hinted that Medal of Honor 2 is going to be out next year for their like EA's big game. So it's going to be like Medal of Honor. A Battlefield game doesn't mean it's going to be like a true Battlefield. It could be like a a Bad Company or some other spin-off, but it's going to go like every other year like that.
I think this one will hopefully last out just like Battlefield 2 did. Because I mean,
I think it will too.
Even today, there's a huge community of people that still play Battlefield 2 like day in, day out. And I think this is like, I mean, Battlefield 3 was like Battlefield 2, sorry, was so revolutionary when it came out. We hadn't really had a first-person shooter in that vein before, and like obviously this is the first true Battlefield game since then. They're making it for the PC. I mean, I don't know about the console gamers. I don't know if they will stray away from Call of Duty in favour of this. But I don't care, and I don't think that DICE cares either, to be honest. EA probably cares, but I think DICE just want to say, look, this is what we can actually do if we really want to put our mind to it. This is where we need to be taking things, and maybe a kick up the arse for the stagnation that we've seen in other games that kind of really haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that, I hope it is good, and I think, if it is a good game, obviously if PC sticks with that game and they're going to play it forever. I just wonder where does after like Battlefield 3 is out and it's said and done and get this 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, where do they go from here if they've already got their ultimate game? Do they just keep building new engines, or do they just do spin-offs like Bad Company, like a Bad Company 3 the year after next? I mean, that's just something I've been thinking about in my head.
Yeah, I think we probably will see some more spin-offs, I would say. I don't, like I say, I think this game, the longevity in this game is just going to be so good that, I mean, we're not going to need a Battlefield 4 for a long time, I would say. But they're going to keep churning out that stuff to make the money on the console market. And even the PC market in some respects. But yeah, what about the Battlelog? What do you guys think about that? Is it something that interests you at all? Being able to compare your stats on a website with your friends? I mean, do you care about
I mean, we would kind of have that almost. Like, with that BFBCS.com. I don't think it has anything to do with EA. It's already got that. Yeah, it's an unofficial one. I guess it works. That's cool. I mean, if they want to add it for free, that's great. I don't personally really care, and sometimes it's cool just to see. But I think they're mostly doing it as, hey, look, Call of Duty is trying to charge you for some of these, but we're giving it to free because we're better by our shooter. That's really what it's like to me.
And they're totally keen to like state that this is going to be the best shooter this year. Like they're not shying away from that fact at all. Like
yeah.
The question, like, I think it was Scott who was talking about it earlier. They decided to release in October, which is obviously going to be a few weeks ahead of Call of Duty, I think.
I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks. 2 weeks,
yeah.
Actually.
I think it is exactly 2 weeks ahead, isn't it? And
yep.
Like, would you guys have liked to have seen a heads-up battle, like the same day release, or do you think? For EA and DICE's sake, that this was the right choice?
I think it's the right choice, personally, just because they are still the underdog compared to Call of Duty. I mean, I know not to us or to PC in general, but overall, they're still the underdog, and I think that they have to go first, because if they release on the same day or a week or two after, I mean, the kids are going to go, okay, well, I could play this new Battlefield game that people talk about, or I can just go with what I know. The brainless retard fest of Modern Warfare, so I think I'm going to go with that because I'm a retard.
I agree. I think it's the best. It's the best way to do it.
It would be marketing suicide to go head to head.
But would the younger kids? I mean, are they really going to buy a new game?
They're going to buy what they know. I think.
I mean, they're not. Are they going to choose? Say buy Battlefield and then 2 weeks later even buy Modern Warfare as well? Like.
No, I don't think kids have that much money.
Happen. Exactly, they're still going to pick one, and they're going to probably go with Modern Warfare. So with the heads up, I would have just, as a PC gamer, and I know it's just, I mean, I know it's going to be better, and we all know that it's going to be better than Modern Warfare. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I would have just loved to have been able to see him go heads up and just, I mean, even if they didn't like sell more copies, which I doubt they would have done, just succeed at least and do enough and. Do that. It just would have made me so happy, and I know that they deserve it for what they've made this game into, even though I've never even played it. I know that already. And I would just love to do it, but perhaps, like, I mean, I can't even say perhaps next year, because if they made another one next year, then I would hate it. Like, I don't want another.
It's going to be Medal of Honor with this engine.
Yeah, I guess. Because the last Medal of Honor, they didn't put the Frostbite engine into it, did they?
Well, they did in the multiplayer, but not in the single player, because EALA, which is now Danger Close, didn't know how to work with it. So they did the single player, and they did Unreal Engine 3 because that's all they knew how to use. But I think, from what I hear, DICE has been teaching them how to use it, and they're going to be using this engine in some of their other games, which brings me to my next question. Is Respawn, with their new game, going to be using Frostbite 2? You know, the original...
I think, I can't remember what game, there was another game, like, totally not related to an FPS in any sense.
Yeah, well, they're using FIFA, I think they're using it in Mirror's Edge 2, which hasn't really officially been announced, but they said they will make another one.
There was definitely something else I heard that they were using the engine for. I feel like it might have been Need for Speed.
Yeah, it could be. I think they're using parts of it everywhere. DICE said that, you know, any EA studio can use their engine, and they're not interested in selling it out like Epic does with 2 other companies.
Is there anything else anyone wants to touch upon on that before we quickly run through all of our tweets and we let Scott get away and have his dinner?
Nope, I'm good.
He won't want that skin cold.
So let me just refresh this page then. Of course, Battlefield 3, I think that is the game of the show for everybody. It shows just by seeing the amount of coverage it's getting, to be honest, I think. But looking at
I probably have to run it.
Yeah, if not, I'm going to make sure, if it means, like, stealing or, like, mugging somebody, then it's going to have to be done, I'm afraid.
Like a Ram Raid PC World or something, just get a bit.
That's just, yeah, that's right. I don't want it from PC where they can have it, man.
No, we won't pay for it. We'll nick it.
Yeah, but even that, I don't want to even give them the satisfaction of feeling that they're good enough to steal from.
Better than that.
What's that? Call of Duty?
No, PC World.
Just getting the bits
I hate
to
that
build
place. But anyway, moving on through these tweets, we'll quickly read these through and we'll see. I think we're going to pretty much come to the same conclusions, to be honest. We've got Lunatic says hashtag IHTV, which is where you'll be sending your tweets to in the future. You bear that in mind. Battlefield 3 has shown what you can do when you develop for the PC. Looking gorgeous and open beta in September. Can't wait to get my hands on that. And it's going to be.
Did they say it was actually open, or did they say there would be just a beta?
No, open.
Did they say it was open?
Open to everybody in September, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, that's better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I think that's them saying, here we go. Because by that time, in September, the Call of Duty guys are going to be looking for something different. Like they're going to be bored by then, and they're going to be looking. And if it comes up free as an open beta, they're going to kind of go, well, we'll have a look at this, you know. I think the same thing happened with Bad Company 2, and I think a lot of people bought it on the consoles because they played the open beta. Anyway, Hardy Dan, who's here anyway, says that's a tough one. I better have a think about it. I think he thought about it and added it into our show notes anyway. The Real Defoe says best E3 PC games. Can't wait for Battlefield 3. Looks amazing. Love seeing them demo it on a PC. And now that is a win to see a PC there. That made me happy, although there's no halfway shut. Tomb Bean says, how can you not be excited for Tomb Raider? I agree. And then she very kindly sends some tweets from her friends who don't use Twitter. So she says, my mates don't tweet, so I do it for them. Soraf says Skyrim, Beef, Malakath, Kajata and Jinji say Battlefield 3. Star Wars was also mentioned. She then, Enrico Rancor, aka Eric, I think he's the Italian guy that she was talking about translating for the other day. It says Tomb Raider looks fantastic, which is strange. It looks like Lara Croft is making a huge comeback. And he also said Assassin's Creed will be excellent if it's anything like Brotherhood. Ubisoft are doing a great job pumping these out. They sure are pumping them out. He also says BF is coming, taking MW's crown, smashing it to pieces, and telling 12-year-old griefers to grow a set. I like it. Crazy Ivan, who's been in the chat room here tonight, says the video stream was stable. That's one thing he liked about E3. That was always a bonus. As for games, I'm not sure yet. All the good PC stuff has yet to be covered, and I think we will see a lot more interesting stuff coming from the actual show floor as far as PC games are concerned.
We covered it.
We tried our best, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff like small developers, like I know, like Paradox Interactive are over there with their like King Arthur.
Armor 3.
Armor 3 is over there as well. I've seen some amazing screenshots come out of that too. But
Torchlight 2.
Never got into those games, but that's what I mean. All those games are on the show floor, and they're not in the companies that are going to have big press conferences. So I think we'll see a lot of coverage coming out. I just wish I could be over there and to be bringing the coverage myself. Maybe next year. Lunatic says again, loved the PC focus of DICE for Battlefield 3, and hated CCP making Dust 514 PS3 only. And then Tina Bean says, I love the banter on the IHTV Ironhammers podcast. We heard about that before the show. Link Goodin says, can we guess where this is going? Nintendo, by any chance?
You need to school him.
For me, the best of E3 was all the 3DS games, Lilac Wars for example. I also like the amount of power Stream will have for Miyamoto on Zelda U. I don't know what that's meant to mean.
Give him a shot.
At all. He's probably asleep by now, to be honest. But anyway, I'm pushing him. He's gonna have a PC eventually. Like he keeps talking about he wants to buy a new console and stuff because his Wii is just broken. And he's talking about buying another Wii because he's a die-hard Nintendo fanboy. It's ridiculous. It's actually quite scary. He keeps saying, oh, I'm thinking of buying a PlayStation or something instead, and I'm just like, just give me the money and I will just make you a PC and you are fine, don't worry about it, cool, like, you don't need to just forget anything else exists, you'll be okay. There will be times when you see an exclusive game and you'll think, oh man, that's not fair, and then you just see Battlefield 3 or something and you just like, take it, have your little games, I'll have the big boys' toys, It's all good. And that wraps it up for the tweets. There was no email. There was a couple more that people did send to me without including the hashtag, so I'll just see if I can quickly dig those up. Let me see if I can find those. There was just one or two, I believe. I'm already completely... the Warden on Twitter says, E3, excited about Mass Effect 3 and Overstrike, if on PC. Not excited about Xbox and Wii U.
What's Overstrike?
I'm not sure, I haven't seen that, man. The name rings a bell. I think it was like a PS3 one or something. Or, I can't exactly remember.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to find it. It's 360 and PS3 from Insomniac Games. Yeah, this one isn't coming to PC.
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah, Insomniac hasn't even leaned our direction yet.
Perhaps mistakenly says Heart of the Swarm. That is all. I don't think
that man knows what he's talking about.
He does, but I don't think you'll find it at E3, man. I think
Blizzard's bigger than E3. We can all
exactly.
They
don't need to worry about E3. I can't wait for BlizzCon, man. I just want that date for Diablo. And I think that's just about all for today, as far as tweets go. So, if you think of anything during the week you want us to talk about, of course, send us a tweet, #IHTV, or if you want to go into a bit more depth, we're always happy to read out an email by sending it over to podcast@ironhammers.org. So before we wrap up now, after many hours of discussing E3, we've cleared the 3-hour mark. I think it's actually a new record, so congratulations folks, give yourselves a round of applause. And I'm doing it on about 38 hours with no sleep or something now, and I'm hanging in there.
Jesus Christ,
and
man.
do you know what? All I want to do when I finish this is play StarCraft.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe I'll...
I know I swore a lot in this episode, but is this explicit or not? Because you're going to have a lot of editing.
No, it's cool, man. That's why the Justin TV says I am older than 18 when you click on the stream.
Oh.
I always mark it as explicit on iTunes as well, so swear as much as you fucking want. It's all good.
Well, fucking right then.
We're gamers, man. It's our language. Just talking about this. I don't want to go off on another massive tangent. Don't want to go too much into it. But not so much. Dan, I know you don't watch so much of the. I know you've got StarCraft and you play it a bit. You're not so much into the spectating side of it, but I know.
I'm getting into that.
Good thing. Good thing.
I watch everything.
Me too, man. I can't get enough of it. I'm like watching it on one monitor, playing it on the other monitor, and I just can't get enough. But what I want to ask is, recently on Team Liquid, I saw a huge thread about just talking about language, and
oh yeah, and I saw the. Well, I didn't specifically read the thread, but I know what it's about because DJ Wheat and In Control. They were talking about it on DJ Wheat's show, which is they talked about it on Weapon of Choice, and then Destiny came on, and In Control got in an argument, and it kind of went back and forth, and then Destiny came on again on the State of the Game last week, and they talked about it more and more, and it just was just so, I don't know, so blown out of proportion that was kind of dumb.
Totally, but I just thought I'd get people's perspective on it, because like on this show, I've always like swore all the time. Like sometimes I've tried to hold it back a bit, but then at the end of the day, I've always thought that, I mean, we're playing these games. I mean, there was certainly no shortage of the word fuck in any of these trailers and stuff that we can see, or any of the gameplays that we're going to see from any of these games. They're all going to contain these words. It's part of playing like 18 or mature rated games, even like 13 plus games will have the occasional swear word perhaps. So with casting and with podcasting and everything like that, do you think it matters to use bad language? Do you think it's part of the community? Do you think it's part of how our community is, I guess? Just quick for me to you guys.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me when people use the language. I think, I guess it just depends on what audience you're broadcasting for. If we were like some, big podcast, like, I don't know, even some of the bigger podcasts like IGN, as terrible as they are, they actually swear on their podcasts. and stuff. So I mean, I don't really even know where to draw the line as far as that goes. I think it's okay here, you know.
Yeah, I think it's part of the culture, man. Like, it's, I don't know. Scott, do you have any opinion on that?
I do. I think as podcasting professionals, it's something that we will do and we have done for sure. But I think it's something that we try to stay away from as often as we are able.
I think there's no need to use it.
To just go crazy or anything. Use it in every sentence.
There's no need to use it for the sake of using it or for the sake of being cool. But I know for me, it's part of my everyday language. Like, anybody that's had a chat with me on TeamSpeak would have heard just about every word you could think of.
Depends on if I'm losing or not, but it's definitely there.
Or playing StarCraft, exactly. It's there, I say it all the time, and I don't see any problem with it. Crazy Old in the Town says as long as it's not racist. Tina Beans, she says she's Irish, it's her language. Swearing is part of the conversation, but I hate it when it's used for the sake of it. If you swear naturally, grand. If you force it, then you're really very sad. Yep. Which is kind of the line I would draw. Like, people who say it just to try and be cool. But like, if I turn around and say Battlefield 3 looks so fucking awesome, for example, like, that is my way of saying that it's not just awesome. Like, this is something else.
Yeah.
Dan, do you have the same kind of opinion? I assume you do.
Yeah. You know, I'm English with some of the best words in the world.
So.
But, you know, as long as it's in context, it's not over the top, it's not incredibly offensive.
And it's not directed at anybody in particular in a nasty way.
And as long as it's marked up on the show that, you know, this is going to, it may well contain the odd words that you wouldn't want your mum to hear.
Exactly. I mean, because the only time that I do try and refrain from swearing is when I'm around my daughter.
Yeah.
And I think simply just marking my stream as +18, marking the podcast as explicit, it's a fair warning, and if you want to let your young children listen to it, then it's only your fault, I would say.
Oh, that reminds me, you need to update the description on iTunes at some point.
I do?
Yeah.
Say Sundays?
Yeah, and it's all about those stuff.
I think it's just all about context, like, even going to kind of not even so much the swearing, but even if, you know, maybe some of the racist stuff or stuff about gays, like if you say that's fucking gay, does it mean that I hate gay people? No. It's just a type of, you know.
It's like the big one that they were talking about on
was
the StarCraft
the N-word.
Rape, wasn't it, as well?
Oh yeah, well that,
like you say,
that
I
too,
absolutely raped that guy. Like, I mean, obviously you didn't go and like forcefully have sex with him, like.
Or didn't even mean that, or you know.
Yeah, but that's one of those situations where I can actually understand that to a certain extent.
That's what I mean. You got to know your audience you're talking to.
Yeah.
You're going to use when you're going to a job interview.
But
I hope not.
No. But if it's going to offend one person, do you stop saying it? Or?
Oh no, because then you'd end up not being able to say anything.
Know your audience, and
yeah,
they'll let you know if they like certain things or they don't, I guess.
But I mean, if you don't like it, you don't. I mean, I don't. I'd like to think that people who do listen to this show in particular would come back, and I see that most of them do. I mean, we've had random people pop up in the chat rooms at times, and we've seen them return again and listen to the next episodes and stuff. So I assume they don't mind. But if you listen to it and it's not your thing, then I'm sure you can find something else for your taste somewhere else.
But it might be nice to drop a line, letting us know how.
Indeed, yeah, I'd love to hear if anybody did have a problem with it, and great.
Good feedback's nice as well, though.
Oh yeah, positive feedback, and on that note, iTunes reviews are also awesome, iTunes.ironhammers.org, but before I get into all that, where can people find you guys, Louis to come, Tyler, Twitter, anywhere?
Twitter.com/CKRAWL, so it's crawl with a K after the C, basically. If you want to add me on Steam, you know, it's steamcommunity.com/ID/crawl827. No extra K there. I can link it in the chat. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Scott?
Yeah, Twitter, of course. Twitter.com/rabid_Scotsman, 1D1T. And you can find me Oh, I know, right? You can find me on Steam with the same ID.
Awesome. And you got to pimp your stream.
I do. Trying to get back into it here lately. But it's of course right here on justin.tv/rabbit_Scotsman as well.
Awesome. And Mr. Harley Dan, I think that says it all. Where can people find you though?
Yeah, Steam, Xbox Live, Games for Windows, Twitter.
Whoa, man, whoa.
Hardly Dan.
All Hardly Dan. You can find him as Hardly Dan pretty much anywhere. And
there is sorry, I do have a Hardly Dan account on Skype, but I never use it, so don't bother with that. Whatever you do.
Fair play. And I will just shout out Tina Bean. She's in the chat room there. She's been doing some great stuff for us over on the website lately. She's been on the previous podcast there, and she's just getting into using Twitter, and I noticed she seems to be enjoying it. So I believe she is twitter.com/purple-tina-beans or tina-beans, spelled like tina beans, and you can find her over there. So do go over and follow her. So a big shout out to her and thanks for everything she's done so far. And so for us then, guys, you can find us at ironhammers.org, of course, on our website, itunes.ironhammers.org. If you would like to subscribe, you can find the podcast at live.ironhammers.org. And you can find, where else can people find me? I'm sure there's more subdomains out there somewhere. They are the main ones. justin.tv/ironhammers. You can find us, which is where we're streaming right now if you listen to the recorded version of the show. And if you're watching right now and you haven't clicked that little follow button in justin.tv, which should be just down there or there somewhere, do click it, because it's awesome and it will let you know whenever we start to stream something. And I'm hoping to get a few different things together and maybe stream some other stuff. Something that I might like to discuss with Scott and Tyler is I'm thinking of perhaps maybe a bi-weekly StarCraft show where we kind of get guys to send us in their replays and we cast them and record it or something.
Absolutely.
Kind of running through my mind. I don't know, but I'm definitely thinking of doing a lot more live video content for all you guys out there who come and check us out every week. And just once a week seems a little bit, a little bit bare. So finally on the video note, and I did cast a couple of StarCraft games today, which are up on the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ironhammers.tv, and of course once again the website ironhammers.org. Everything is linked from there. You can go, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter, twitter.com/ironhammer5. It's all there, ironhammers.org. Check it out. Thanks to Harley Dan, Tyler and Scott for joining me today. It's awesome to have you guys here as always. Who's going to be on next week? I guess you have to wait and see. We'll probably decide on Tuesday morning. But we will be back for certain, back to the normal format with the usual news, and we'll be talking more about what we've actually been playing and going back to a more standard format right then. So come and check us out next Tuesday right here. It'll be 11 PM, an hour earlier than it was tonight, and it shouldn't go on for nearly 4 hours this time. That was a bit extreme, but it's E3, man. It's once a year. Make the most of it. So thanks for coming. And I think we will call that game over. Coming out in just a couple of days' time, Duke Nukem, game over. Is it time?
Game over.